Hey everybody, it's your boy Eduardo Jackson, CEO, founder, and creator of this game we all love to play, Cinema Draft. Back at you again after the wildest Oscars finish I think we've ever seen. I'm sure all of the advertisers and networks were grateful for such a wild live finish. Probably the only reason why we watch what live TV anymore these days. But in its aftermath, we still have some results for our game to review. So let's get into it. Still kind of tripping over that. Giving you a middle of the night pod. It is, oh wow, that's like 3 in the morning out here in Vegas. It's just been I've been going on a Game of Thrones binge, just rewatching it like crazy. So yeah, been doing that. But yeah, here we are, checking out some of our more interesting call sheets of the past weekend. And also, we will be getting into reviewing some of, previewing some of the talent pool moving forward. Oh, let me take this opportunity real quick to tell you a little bit about the movies I saw this weekend. So, first movie I did see Get Out, and that movie was like that. It was fun, funny, scary, and as Jordan Peele, the writer director, first time director of this movie, said that the real villain in this movie is racism. That's kind of true. And for any, I mean, there's so many relatable elements in that movie, especially, as a black man who has been in majority white, audiences, for most of his life. Being in those situations with just the awkward white liberal people who are just trying to be down and stuff is just, I mean, it just makes skin crawl. And then just kind of seeing all that stuff kind of turn on its head, and and showing that yes, racism lives among liberal people too. It was really a really interesting, fun time of the movies, and a lot to kind of root for and root against. Very good time of the movies. It's been getting killer reviews all across the board. I think it's right. Look at 99% Rotten Tomatoes score. That's bananas. So that, I mean, basically means like 99 out of 100 critics just love the hell out of this film. And so I saw Get Out on Saturday, and I finally got around to seeing Manchester by the Sea, or at least finally got around to finishing it, because I wanted to see what all the hubbub was about. I wanted to see it before the Oscars finished. I don't think I quite finished it by the time the Oscars were done, but I did finish watching it right after the Oscars. I wanted to see what the hubbub was about with Casey Affleck and everything. And I will say this: it is a very well-made movie. It is a very slow movie. It is about the nature of grief, and I mean, and there are some really good performances in it. I mean, I am inherently biased. I fully admit that I will never, I mean, that I am in Denzel's camp 110%. But even as objectively as I can try to make, myself be about these two performances, I mean, it's a bit of an apples to apples comparison, as far as Casey Affleck is the driving force behind Manchester by the Sea, in the same way that Denzel Washington is the driving force behind Fences. And the thing about it is that it kind of comes down to, are you a Kenneth Lonergan person or not? Kenneth Lonergan is the writer director of Manchester by the Sea. He's also done some films like, well, he was really kind of put on the map back in, I want to say, was it 2000 and 2000? You Can Count on Me. That was the movie that he directed that kind of got him all this acclaim. It introduced us. It introduced the world to Mark Ruffalo. I believe that was the first time he had really gotten a lot of exposure. Yeah, there is. Mark Ruffalo was one of the two leads in it, and I just really could not get into this film at all. It just seemed like such, for lack of a better term, middle class, white people problems, like first world problems. I just could not relate to. I was kind of over it, and it, nominated for 2 Oscars, and it just got all sorts of heat on it, and I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't feel it, but. And for the most part, I mean, like, as a writer, he's done stuff that I've really liked. Gangs of New York, analyzed that. I hear good things about Margaret. Didn't see it. But as he's basically had 3 films, and I was kind of out on one and a half of them. Manchester by the Sea. I mean, because it is a slow, methodical film about the nature of grief. I mean, you're either really down for that count or not. Maybe I haven't had enough grief in my life, and that's actually real talk. I mean, I haven't really lost too many people that have been close to me or anything, so I can't really tap into that nature of grief per se, or even so much addiction. There are two really good scenes in it, Oscar bait scenes where you read the script as an actor and you're like, oh, okay, this is some really deep stuff for me to sink my teeth into. And it's a pretty well made film, and it is interesting, but Denzel was robbed, man. That's all I gotta say. Denzel was robbed. So, kudos to Casey Affleck for one of the first things he mentioned when he got up on that stage was basically giving shout outs to, the man, the myth, the legend, Denzel. I mean, you don't have to say his last name. He just goes by one name. I mean, he's Denzel freaking Washington. He'll have more shots, more chances, I'm sure, but I really felt for Denzel because once again, it was just another case of a Titanic performance being overlooked by a lesser performance. I mean, you will never be able to talk me out of Malcolm X not being the best, the best performance in, what was it, 91, 92, and then you got robbed by Robert De Niro for hooah! No, Al Pacino, hooah! Send him a woman. Fuck that shit. All right. Anyways, back on track. So those are the two movies I saw over the weekend. Manchester by the Sea is a bit of a tough hang, but it's interesting and it's good. But Casey, it wasn't Best Actor good over Denzel Washington, in my opinion. Okay, so on to this review. Dang it. So let's take a look at. So we had Kelly returning to the top of the leaderboard in the $125 feature presentation. And I do think I mentioned how much I loved this, how much I loved this call sheet. I really did. And it was a very balanced call sheet, if I do remember. It was basically she had a 3-pack of Get Out, including the headliner stack, and that was fairly crucial because you needed to have at least three actors from Get Out to stand a chance at winning your contest this weekend. So she had a 3-pack of Get Out, she had a headliner stack of La La Land, headliner stack of I Am Not Your Negro, which came in at almost $862,000, I think, dollars. It expanded slightly to 313 screens. Also, she had a headliner stack of Everybody Loves Somebody, and then she had Rooney Mara from Lion for 197.42 points to take the feature presentation. And although this is a little. This technically is kind of Stars and Scrubs, but it's actually it's a little more nuanced than that. It's fairly, I would say it's totally balanced because you're still gobbling up about 50,000 or so of your budget on just 3 actors from one film. But the way she disperses not even so much like the risk, but the value among those other films between La La Land, I Am Not Your Negro, and Everybody Loves Somebody is pretty remarkable. Oh, and I almost forgot. Quick dip back into review land. How can I forget this movie? It's amazing. I did finally go and see I Am Not Your Negro, and that was James Baldwin is just a timeless, classic American freaking treasure. He wrote this thing. So I guess he had the beginnings of a manuscript back in 1979. He wrote like 30 pages, whatever, and then just stopped or didn't finish or something or other. Anyways, and just the way he talks about just, the American condition, racism, humanity, being black, being gay, being just a human, just being a part of society. It's just transcendent, and it is timeless. And what makes it timeless is that it's specific, but also universal. And he has this really fine way. He injects nuance into really heavy subjects like racism and democracy and personal freedom, whatever. But he injects nuance into these large, unwieldy subjects that people sometimes don't even want to deal with. Oh, I don't want to get political. Oh, I don't want to talk about race. Blah blah blah. But he does it in a way where he injects nuance in a way where, and please believe he has the whole diaspora of the English language at his disposal that he can use. He could spend like a chapter writing on how a lily bends in the wind and it would be compelling. But he injects nuance in a way into these large and wieldy conversations and topics in a way that it just breaks down the conversation, the topic, and you to its moral center, to the point where you just have to either recognize the truth and veracity of what he's talking about and its relation to you and your own humanity, or he's got to just GTFO. It's just, I mean, he's just an amazing talent. I mean, more should be made about how talented James Baldwin is as a writer, as a thinker, and quite honestly, as an intellectual icon, because he hung out with the intellectual titans of his day. He hung out with, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers. He was friends with Billy D. Williams. He was, down with all of it's like the equivalent of, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of like the equivalent of like a Ta-Nehisi Coates, just getting up with John Legend and Ava DuVernay and just kind of just hanging out. Just, it's all of them just kind of like being boys and buddies and just talking about like the things that are affecting our time. And it's just, I mean, just not enough. I'm sorry, I know I'm totally going off into a quote unquote cultural cul-de-sac, but it just really did reaffirm my love of James Baldwin, his intellect, the way he just thought about things in just a really humane, timeless way. It's a really, really, really good film. I strongly recommend it to everybody. I did a little tweet storm Friday night if you want to check out my little tweet storm at Swag Poker. Also, I think I had linked to it at Play Cinema Draft as well on Friday. And it leaves you speechless, leaves you angry at some points that the shit he's talking about back in 57 might as well be 2017. I mean, but it also leaves you feeling kind of energized. And I was charged up. I came out of that movie on Friday night charged up. I was having a bad night. Played some poker, had a really bad beat, but by the end of this movie, I was charged up. I was in my feelings. I Am Not Your Negro. It's mandatory viewing for every American, hell, every person. Okay, so there I am, off my soapbox. I Am Not Your Negro, 4 reels all the way. Okay, so that's a great call sheet, Kelly. Way to go. I appreciate the call sheet. My call sheet was 3.42 points behind, and my strategy was, so I did an extreme stars and scrubs here. So I had a 3-pack of Get Out, including the headliner stack, and I had a 6-pack of I Am Not Your Negro. I went all in on this. I was almost rewarded too. Yeah, it looks like it was 827,000, or it made it at the box office. So it's 8.30 points for a regular actor, 11.62 for the 2 headliners. I almost got there. I ran out of gas. And I had about 800 left over. I'm not sure what I could have done differently to make up the difference. Split. I couldn't afford Split. That would have gotten me about maybe a 1.5 closer. I mean, with this strategy, I pretty much took it as far as it could go, seeing how it's all in on I'm Not Your Negro. Only thing I'm thinking, because especially when you look at some of the other films in my price bracket, I'm not sure if I could have wrung out 13, 14 points from any of these other films in this salary range. So I gave it a good shot, but I came in second. 194 points even. Okay, let's see who else got some interesting call sheets here. Smart Ash. So, welcome to Cinema Draft, Smart Ash. Hope you've been listening to the podcast, gleaning some strategy. Love your work so far. You've cashed consistently in the 2 weeks you've played. Let's take a look at Smart Ash's call sheet. So she went with a 3-pack of Get Out, a 4-pack of I'm Not Your Negro, smart. And also where she kind of lost ground a little bit was Everybody Loves Somebody. It only did 5.18 points for the headliner Carla Souza, and it cost 7,000 in salary at that. And she also had a headliner stack of Lion, which actually was pretty strong. She had 1,700 left over. I'm thinking with that money, she might have been able, she didn't necessarily need another platform film here. 8,700, she might have been able to pivot up to La La Land. If she would have been able to squeeze in La La Land at she would have been just under 8,800 for a headliner. I'm not sure, but where she lost ground is Everybody Loves Somebody. Otherwise, it's a very solid call sheet. Top 3, kudos to you, because of course I am a Cinema Draft employee. I do not get second place money. So congratulations on second place money, Smart Ash. $27.50. good looking call sheet. Looking forward to seeing what you put up next week. Gamble 24/7, last week's returning champion. Almost got there, and thanks for the honesty. I made a clerical error. He caught it, so kudos to you. We'll be sending all the extra karma your way this weekend. So he went with a 3-pack of Get Out, a headliner stack of Lion, headliner stack of I Am Not Your Negro, headliner stack of Everybody Loves Somebody, and then he had an actor from John Wick. Used up all his budget, 191.24 points, just about 7 points off the pace. And where he lost ground was probably with Everybody Loves Somebody and possibly John Wick, only because, I mean, he got 9.36 points out of it, but considering for the category, and actually this is supposed to be a wide release. I don't know why the system keeps changing the platform. It's just asinine. But it basically is a wide release, and it looks like, yeah, and so at 9,000, he probably could have spent that somewhere else a little bit more, or maybe could have gone up a little bit more instead of doing Everybody Loves Somebody. He could have swapped out, maybe went up to maybe Split, got an extra 6 points from Split somewhere. But either way, it's a pretty solid call sheet. Top 5 again. Good stuff. Gamble 24/7, our returning champion. And rounding out the top 5, Ring Balls 22. 190.17 points. He had a 4-pack of I'm Not Your Negro with the headliner stack, a 3-pack of Get Out. He had a headliner stack of Everybody Loves Somebody, and he had Emma Stone from La La Land. Congratulations, or Emma Stone. Oh, Emma Stone was only 7,800, so I take it back. On Smart Ash's call sheet, she could have, that extra money she saved, she could have gone up to La La Land and gotten like an extra. Ooh, wow, she could have gotten an extra 8 points. Could have been crucial. Actually, I think that could have been the difference there. So we live and we learn from all these. I'm still learning. Matter of fact, I don't think I've won the feature presentation yet. How messed up is that? So anyways, so yes, this is a really good call sheet. Very solid. Covers most of the bases. Just comes up a little bit short, only because Everybody Loves Somebody didn't do what we thought it would do. Actually, no, that's not true. Actually, I did kind of predict that we would see some drop off on Everybody Loves Somebody in the second week, because these foreign niche film, like niche audience films, tend to go hard the first week. Sometimes you can kind of wring a little money out of them the second week, but you might want to totally fade it for this third week. Okay. And also, just real quick, friend of the pod, Jay Devlin. Let's take a look at his call sheet real quick. Excuse me. Because he is actually off in Mexico this weekend. It'll be interesting to see if he'll be able to play on the site. He should, it's access via the web, so hopefully we'll see you in there, Jay Devlin. He just missed the top 5. He was 6th with 184.94 points, and he had one, two. Okay, so he had a headliner stack of Get Out, a headliner stack of I'm Not Your Negro. He had Ralph Fiennes, the headliner from Lego Batman. He had Dev Patel from Lion, headliner stack from Everybody Loves Somebody. Did I already say that? And then also he's on this train, man. He had Rosamund Pike from A United Kingdom. He is going to ride A United Kingdom until it pays off. I think it's expanding again this weekend. We'll see what it does. But yeah, that's pretty hilarious. He is all about that United Kingdom. And to be honest, I'm interested in seeing it. It looks fascinating. Historical fiction, we know that's my bag, baby. So yeah, good call sheet, close, but just 13 points off the pace this week. We'll see what you come up with next week. And also, real quick, I want to point out the call sheet of the week. And this week, the call sheet of the week comes to us from all the way down in the $30 gaffer. If it'll ever load up, here we go. The $30 key grip. That's where it was. The call sheet of the week this week goes to my boy, one of the OGs from the spreadsheet. It's the Roan with 203 points even. Look at this bad boy. This is an inspired freaking call sheet. This is an extreme Stars and Scrubs. And by extreme, I mean he went all in on Get Out. He had a 4-pack of Get Out, which by my meager calculations was 65,700. So he gobbled up, almost 2/3 of his budget with 4 actors, with 6 slots to fill. And he went bargain basement, but it was still fairly smart. So the 4-pack of Get Out. He had Samuel Jackson from I'm Not Your Negro, and he could probably barely afford that. He had uh, a 2-pack from a United Kingdom. It doesn't look like he could have afforded having a headliner stack, because Rosamund Pike was 5,400, and I remember David Oyelowo was 5,800, so he couldn't have even afford a headliner stack. So he just went Rosamund Pike as a headliner, and then Arnold Osung from a United Kingdom. And then he squeezed in the headliner stack from Bitter Harvest, which damn near nobody saw. It's about 272,000 at box office. Got you 3.08 headliner points for the 2 headliners, Max Irons and Samantha Barks. And Rooney Mara from Lion to get the obligatory limited release in there as a headliner for 10.72 points. And to be honest with you, that might be the optimal call sheet. It scored the most points this weekend, 203 points overall. Very inspired, very dedicated to a strategy. And that's why it's kind of cool when you go down to some of the smaller contests. Just experiment with your lineup some. Some players just like to do the same call sheet for all 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're really confident in your strategy, you think that's the way you can get the most money, and it's the most plus EV for what you're trying to do, then by all means go for it. But that's why I do like to kind of tinker and tweak with some of these other contests as I work my way up to the feature presentation, just to kind of test out some strategies, get a little differentiation in there, because you never know. And that seemed to work for Theron, who I believe came in 7th in the feature presentation with 177.13 points for $5, but he took the key grip with 203 points for $15. So excellent call sheet. You are our call sheet of the week. Look for it on our social media on Wednesday as we do a screenshot and celebrate it on our social media channels. Okay, so let's take a look at the week coming up real quick. I will actually be going in depth with the shot list as we record later on tonight, I guess, Tuesday night. It should be a tripod, this time with bringing back the lovely ladies from Hollywood, KJ, Kalila Joy, our working black actress, and Alexia Peebles of the Hollywood Black Film Festival. Looking forward to having them back on the podcast. Hopefully you all will tune into that. Gave us our highest viewed episode yet. So very excited about that. So looking forward to talking to them about basically the fall from the Oscars. I mean, have we recovered? Has the nation recovered? I don't know. Very interesting. So taking a look real quick at the talent pool, just kind of going over some of the new releases. We have Before I Fall, which seems like almost like a Groundhog Day meets, I don't know, Heathers or something. It's like a high school girl type Groundhog Day situation. She's reliving the same day over and over again and dying. It's crazy. The Shack, which seems kind of inspirational, with Octavia Spencer and Sam Worthington, Australia's own Sam Worthington. Logan from the X-Men franchise, and allegedly the last of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine movies, and Table 19, which I believe is a very small opening film with Anna Kendrick and Craig Robinson, something about a wedding or what have you. Let's go take a look in the lobby, because I have started some placeholder call sheets, and we can just kind of take a look at what's in the talent pool. And as I mentioned, we can take a look at each of these real quick. It's going to give you an idea. Before I Fall, it's an interesting concept. I'm mildly interested. I'm not sure if I'll go see it in the theater per se interested, or if it's like the second of a buy one, see 2 or 3 movies type day, but it's opening wide, almost 4,000 screens. I think there's some pretty good buzz among the MTV teen and tween set. Zoe Deutsch, I think, has a small following. Houston Sage, I think, is sort of model actress maybe. So there might be some interest there. Otherwise, it's basically not for older people per se, but I mean, it's a compelling, it's an interesting concept, and I think it's going to do decent business. Although just the vibe I'm getting and the word of mouth from Get Out is so strong. Get Out could probably do another 25 million next week. I see very little drop off for Get Out next weekend, to be honest with you. So that's Before I Fall. And the other new one, which I think, Logan is actually, you know what? Yeah, Logan's going to be your box office leader by far, and it's priced accordingly. Look at that. You're looking at 20,500 for Hugh Jackman, 19,800 for Patrick Stewart, and I mean, I don't know if it's going to be the best value, but it's going to give you some value because it's probably going to do 40 between 40 and 60, somewhere like that. It's the marketing has been interesting because they've been kind of marketing it like this isn't your dad's, or this isn't your teenage son's X-Men or whatever. As far as the musical choices and stuff have been a little more contemplative. They've been playing up a lot, like the relationship between Wolverine and possibly his daughter, maybe, not sure. So we'll see. Boyd Holbrook, shout out to Narcos. Shout out to Narcos. Boyd Holbrook, kind of interested to see him in this with the mechanical hand. And the girl seems cute and dangerous, so I'm there for it. I'll see it. I'll most likely it's probably gonna be my post-lock movie. 10:30 or 10:45, probably at the D-Box Theater over there at the the D-Box the D-Box seats, the ones with the seat moves, where like if the plane banks to the left in a movie, your seat kind of turns to the left, that type of thing. Definitely looking forward to that with Logan. And for all we know, probably be in 3D and all that jazz. And I'm a sucker for all that stuff. So keep an eye out on those. Oop, that's last week's. Also, some decent values. I have no idea what this Table 19 is about. It's got zero buzz. I would probably stay away for now until I hear more. The Shack has been advertised heavily. It's just so damn inspirational, man. I think it might get lost at the box office this week because you're going to have a strong holder with Get Out. You still actually have holdover potential with, what was that movie? John Wick is actually fairly strong, but Lego Batman is probably still going to get you about 14, 15 million. I Am Not Your Negro expands a little bit more. I mean, I was really unsure about the Shack, so that's why I priced it like this. It's one of those, it can either really hook into a niche with the faith-based inspirational set, because it's rumored that Octavia Spencer is playing a version of God, which is kind of cool. I'm here for all black female gods, but I just don't see where the box office comes for this movie. It seems very. I have a hard time finding what the audience is for this movie. Get Out is going to do gangbusters again, and its price stayed unchanged. 17,000 for Allison Williams as your top headliner, going down to 16,000 for Lil Rel Howery to get in there on Get Out. Rock Dog is just DOA, man. I think that made like what, 3 million, 3.5 million, something like that. It sucks. Everybody Loves Somebody is running out of steam. Fistfights had its day. Great Wall is going to start ratcheting down. A United Kingdom, it's staying the same. I just don't know if it's going to be on enough screens for it to matter. I'm estimating 290 screens here, so we could, A Boy Can Dream, 50 Shades, John Wick, both marked down. Lego Batman, marked down, 14,500 will get you in the game with Lego Batman. I'm Not Your Negro. I'm actually marking it down some, even though it's supposed to expand. It expanded by about 70 screens, last weekend, and it only had it might have lost a little money. I think because I think the weekend before it had like 965,000, and this weekend only had 862,000. So I marked it down by about 500. So 6,500 will get you in there. 6,900 for James Baldwin as the top headliner. And then Split's got some staying power, although marked down. Hidden Figures just continues to churn away. And this price, 7,500, to get you into Hidden Figures, topping out at 8,500 for Taraji P Henson. This is just basically assuming it's going to drop down to limited. It skirted past limited by 22 screens. It was on 2,022 screens to stay a wide release, which I think hurt it. If it drops down just by even 100 screens and into the limited release category, this might be a decent value here for you. Actually, it looks like, yeah, this might actually be decent value for you here if it drops down to limited, because what limited film is beating Hidden Figures? Will it be La La Land? I mean, will that get I was gonna say a dead cat bounce. Will that get a Lost Award bounce? I don't know. I mean, but I think the Hidden Figures is gonna do fine. But limited release, you might want to take another gander at Moonlight. This is interesting. So Moonlight last weekend. Moonlight got you. We didn't have it in our talent. We didn't have it in our talent pool last weekend, of course, but we're bringing it back because I just had a feeling. I actually put in the talent pool before it. It kind of snaked that best that best picture award right from out under La La Land. But Moonlight did almost 600,000 on 585 screens. So I think it's going to add a few more screens. It's going to get that curiosity factor. I mean, I don't think it's going to do 1 million, but it probably could do another 700,000. So, it's going to get an Oscar bounce. And kudos to Moonlight. It's hung in there. It's made 25 million worldwide. I think it was made for 1.5 million. So, get your money, y'all. Get your money. And the only other one I would say is, and actually Moonlight's fairly affordable, although priced up for a limited release. I mean, for 19 weeks and it being limited release, we're starting off at 7,000, going up to 7,600 for Oscar award winning Mahershala Ali. Congrats to your boy. He had a hell of a year. Luke Cage, all that good stuff. Matter of fact, we had Oh, and for those watching at home, the results from the podcast on the poll, it was split. 50% thought Get Out would make over 20 million. 50% thought it'd make under 20 million. Well, guess what? Half y'all know what you're talking about because it made 33.8 million. Good job. But there's some really cool artwork on the award winners from my boy Nicholas Smith. That's Nicholas, Nikkoolas, and he's a fantastic visual artist. He made, if you're watching the video at home, you can see this is great portrait of Moonlight with the Oscar statuette in there. There's another great one of Viola Davis, the queen, man. She was just a queen in every way up on that stage. There's an Oscar portrait of Viola Davis you should check out. And also on our Twitter feed, we have the Mahershala one. Just really good work. If you want to check out Nicholas's work, I highly recommend him. @4Nicholas, that'd be at the number 4, Nikkoolas on Twitter. It's good stuff, man. He's a really good follow, very talented artist. He did one with the Obamas, which is pretty bomb. I'm not sure if that's up on his homepage. He had one with the Obamas. He had one with celebrating the Olympic athletes, the gold medalists at Rio. I mean, he's just a really, really, talented artist with some really good stuff. And so, you can commemorate your Oscar watching experience by maybe picking up a few of his prints. All right. And then, but I don't know. I've never actually met the guy, to be honest with you. I think I did an article on him at Upworthy once. Seems like a really cool cat, very talented, not paid or endorsed or anything. Just, I really respect his work. All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap it up this weekend. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the podcast. You all know what to do. Go to simmondraft.co, tell all your friends, sign up, get more people in here. Once we start to fill these suckers up, I can finally expand the prize pool. And tell all your friends, follow us on social media, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, all of that good stuff. Subscribe everywhere where you get your podcasts. If you subscribe on iTunes, rate us, review us, please. let more people discover this fun and engaging podcast. We should be coming back at you Wednesday morning with a podcast I'll be recording late, I guess technically tonight, Tuesday night, with the female tripod, the She-Pod, with Cleo Joy and Alexia Peebles. Thanks again for listening, everybody. Good luck in constructing your call sheets, and of course, during this week and this weekend, go out and see a movie or something.